My fellow citizens, my name is Chemo Mashud. Let me express my deepest gratitude for the privilege of addressing this nation. I come to you today, humbled by the task before us, grateful for the trust you have bestowed, mindful for the sacrifices borne by our country's current government. I thank President General Yoweri Tibuhaburwa Kaguta Museveni for his service to our nation, as well as his generosity and cooperation he has showed throughout our country's transition. That the tides of prosperity and the still waters of peace will always remain firm and carried on, not simply because of the skill or vision of those in our offices, but because we, the people, have remained faithful to the ideals of our forefathers and true to our founding document. And so it has been, and so it must be with this General Muhoozi For movement, that as we are in the midst of crisis, our nation is at hard times against a far-reaching network because of violence and hatred. Our economy is getting weakened because of the consequences of greed and irresponsibility in some of the people. But also our collective failure to make hard choices to prepare this nation into a new age. Jobs to the youth have been provided, business initiatives have been supported, our healthcare has been improved, and the 3/3 of our schools now pass out many to the next levels. And each day brings evidence that the way we use our energy strengthens victories and threatens our country's growth and development. And to those who think that the Uganda's decline is inevitable, that the MK generational movement must lower its sights, yes, today we affirm to you that the challenges we will face might then be visible and tangible to us, and they may not be met in a short span of time, but all you need to know is that they will be met. Because the day General Muhoozi For will be voted in as president will be the day that we will proclaim an end to the petty grievances and the false promises, the recrimination and the worn-out dogmas that for so long have threatened our country's politics. We could be a young nation, but with the MK generational movement, the time has come to set out childish things. The time has come to affirm our enduring spirit, to continue choosing a better history, and to carry forward this precious gift that every Ugandan deserves a chance to pursue their full measure of happiness. And in reaffirming the greatness of our nation, we all must understand that greatness is never given, but it must be earned. And in the coming election, the recent generation has chosen a man to lead us, a man who embodies the best this country has to offer. And that man is General Muhoozi For. General Muhoozi For understands the ideals of community, faith, and service because they define his life. He has worked as a commander of the Special Force Command. He has also worked as a commander of Land Forces and the Uganda People's Defense Force. And as a presidential advisor, he has devoted himself to this country, and again, we have seen him make tough choices when the easy ones were available. His values and records affirm what is best in us. General Muhoozi For believes in Uganda, where hard work is rewarded, and in a journey to where we are right now, it has never been one of shortcuts or for the faint-hearted or for those seeking fame. Rather, for those who work hard, the risk-takers and the makers of things. Some celebrated, but more often, the men and women who abscond in their labor and have come us up a long nagged path towards the prosperity and freedom of this country. For they saw and still see that Uganda is bigger than our individual ambitions, greater than all our differences of birth or wealth or faction, and this is the journey we continue to affirm as we hope to become the most prosperous nation in Africa and in the whole world. And in the past month, our country remained undiminished, and the times of standing part to protect narrow interests and putting off unpleasant decisions has surely passed away now. So starting today, we must pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and hold our hands together to a new work of improving the image of our nation, Uganda. There are those who keep questioning the power of the people, forgetting what this country has already done, what faithful men and women could achieve when imagination is joined to a common purpose, a necessity to courage. What the cynics forget is that the earth has shifted beneath them, that the style of political argument that has consumed us for so long is no longer applying to the question we ask today, whether our government is too big or the state of our economy calls for action that is bold and shift, of which the Muhoozi For generational movement will not only create jobs, but to lay a foundation for generational growth. We need to give a chance to the Muhoozi For generational movement so we will be able to hold them accountable, and they will spend wisely and to reform from the bad habits and to do their business in the day of light, because only then shall we restore the virtual trust between the people and their government. And as we give the mandate in the coming election, we will avoid the question that whether the market is a force for goods or it's the power to generate wealth and to expand freedom, but to remind us that without a watchful eye, the market can spin out of control, and yet no nation can prosper when it only favors the prosperous. Your support for the victory to the MK generational movement will not only lead to the success of our economy or expand the size of our gross domestic product, but on the reach of our prosperity and the ability to expand opportunities to every willing heart, not out of charity, but because it must be our common goal. And General Muhoozi For will be faced with Paris that we will sincerely imagine as a drafted charter to assure the rule of law and the right of man. The charter that will be extended to generations to come, and he won't give them up for an experience sake, for he seeks the future of peace, dignity, without a stain of discrimination, and he is ready to lead us with a steady alliance and conviction as we please. As he also knows that our power grows through its prudent use and seeks and demands a better cooperation and understanding between and amongst us, that we will live responsibly and to let the men and women to continue with their businesses. And to those aiming at looting people's hand-earned property through the unnecessary demonstrations, we say to you that our spirit is stronger and we will not break down for you. And you cannot outlast us, for we know that this country's punchwork success is a strength and not a weakness, since we are a nation of both Christians and Muslims. And as we have tasted the bitter soil of war and discrimination and emerged from those darkest moments, we are more united now, and we believe that that old hatred has passed away. That as certain groups think the opposite way, our common humility shall reveal itself, and the MK generational movement must play its role in unleashing a new era of growth. And to the opposition team, independent, we have more work to do based on our country's mutual interest and mutual respect to support the MK generational movement to build Uganda, our nation. For we will no longer offer indifferences to the suffering within our communities and to our borders, nor can we consume our country's resources without regard to affect it. For the situations have changed, and that we must change with it as we consider the role that unfolds before us. And with honor and respect, I want to appreciate and recognize the efforts of those in our offices, the Vice President, the Prime Minister, the Chief Justice, and both the two speakers. With endless commitment to the development of our country, Uganda, they have endured sacrifices that most of us cannot begin to imagine, and being much instrumental in guarding the liberty of our country. They embody a spirit of service, a willingness to find a meaning in something greater than ourselves, and this reminds us of the obligation that we have to ourselves and to one another, because we have been living in an era of a profound irresponsibility. So if you believe that the stories our children watch on the national TVs is not the true story of our country, Uganda, then I call upon you to join your hands together and to work hard and to be patient as we support the MK generational movement to lead us to the new heights of our desires. Thank you so much. May God bless you for God and my country.